I see and feel the energy change as you go through the day. I mean, it's often like in New York, crikey, it was wild from the start.
Yes.
But you feel it getting deeper, and when you start to connect dots, and you know, I'm connecting more dots all the time because you got to. I mean, it's a deep rabbit hole. Don't stop, keep going. And you hear the silence of ding ding as the connections are made. Oh my God, so that's how they do it. Oh my God, so that's how it works. And that whole kind of combination of things makes it, well, for me, it's always a memorable day to do because it's an energy event which expresses itself in words and pictures, but it's a vibrational event, really. And it can be very, very powerful because, you know, the energy of the audience is involved as well.
You mentioned that you do it in 4 sections of your talks.
Yeah.
What would these sections be? Talking about reality,
well,
reality is, and as such.
Yeah, the first section is always about the nature of reality. Because I started on this journey, Victoria, 20 years ago this year, consciously, when I had the most extraordinary, what you might call paranormal awakening. And I have been moving through the years, and some force has been handing me pieces in the puzzle, almost in the order to understand it most easily and assimilate it. And it started off where all the pieces in the puzzle and all the synchronicities, all the walking into experiences, walking into people, walking into books, walking into documents, was about how the world is controlled in what I call the 5 sense reality, this one, holographic reality, I would call it, by a tiny few families. They control the banking system, the political system, so that you can vote for someone that says Republican, or you can vote for someone who says Democrat, but you're still voting for the same force that's behind both parties. Same in Britain, same in Europe. They're behind the pharmaceutical cartel, which have no interest in human health. They have interest in pharmaceutical wealth and control. They don't want well people, because well people don't buy drugs, do they? They want sick people, and so they keep inventing new illnesses and all this stuff. Attention deficit disorder in kids. We must give them Ritalin because they've got attention deficit disorder. And then you say, well, hold on a second. First of all, I had attention deficit disorder when I was a kid because school bored me rigid, okay? But let's take your version of attention deficit disorder. The symptoms you tell us are the disorder are exactly the same symptoms that of behavioral changes for children have these appalling poisonous chemical additives in food and drink. So what they do, they give kids all this rubbish. It has an effect on their attention possibilities, an effect on their hyperactivity, and then they say, hey, they've got attention deficit disorder, give them Ritalin, give them this. This is all it works, how it works. So this whole first period, after I had this massive awakening 20 years ago, and it's not an awakening, oh, there I am, it's an awakening, and then it progresses. Your mind opens more and more to consciousness.
Well, let's speak more of this awakening.
But if I can just finish this, and then very quickly, then after that period, what came into my life was, in this synchronistic way, was that there was a non-human race or races behind this control system. And then it went into what I feel is absolutely the most important part, which is the nature of reality itself. Because there are so many people out there now, there weren't when I started off, but there are now, thank you, and more the merrier, who are putting out information about the 5 sense conspiracy, the engineered terrorist event that was 9/11, the manufactured overseas wars and the reasons for them, and all this stuff, and the war on terror, which is a war on human freedom, actually. But until you get into the nature of reality itself, and the illusory nature of it in terms of physicality, and how we decode information into this reality, like a wireless internet, then you can start to see how these few can control what is, we're told now, 7 billion people. Because their secret society network at the highest level passes on from generation to generation of these initiates the nature of reality, how humans generate reality, how we interact with reality, how reality can affect us. And they have systematically kept that from the people, because if they know that and the population they're targeting do not know that, well, the few are in a massive position of power. And this is why, because this goes back in what we call time, another bloody illusion, but in the language of this world, this goes back a long, long time. And this is why when the colonial powers from Europe, not least the British, when they went into North America, South America through the Spanish and the Portuguese, when they went into Africa, when they went into Australia with the Aborigines, they targeted the native peoples, and they targeted specifically people like the shaman who were carrying the knowledge of reality that, as they understood it, that's been passed through the generations. Crucially, the knowledge of the historical sequence of humanity through to this point. And what they were able to do using Christianity, often overwhelmingly as the vehicle, was to impose upon those native peoples a new religion which demonized the old ways, therefore the old knowledge. And as a great friend of mine in South Africa, a Zulu shaman called Credo Mutwa, who he's coming up to his 90th year now, as he said to me, when the British and the Europeans came into Africa, they milked the minds of the shaman and then killed them, many of them anyway. And what they've done is target anything and anyone that could give a truer version of history and human life and reality, so that they could replace that with a made-up story. So it's so ironic, to me anyway, that when like a few weeks ago, I was in South Africa with Credo Mutwa. When I go in there, I see a country which has the most extraordinary history, the most incredible understandings and knowledge there to be accessed, and it's dominated by Christianity. And the same, of course, happened in South America and elsewhere. And I'm not knocking Christianity. I mean, people must believe what they want, but these colonial powers specifically used it to replace the old ways.
When you say old ways, was there any truth to the old ways opposed to the new ways?
Well, you might have noticed a few minutes ago, I didn't say the true, I said the truer history.
The truer, okay.
Because we're all trying to understand many things, and as Socrates in ancient Greece was supposed to have said, wisdom is knowing how little we know. And we forget that. We think that because we believe in this religion or that religion or that religion, that somehow we've got it. Well, we are sitting here decoding, therefore experiencing and perceiving a tiny, tiny frequency range of reality. Beyond that is infinity, all possibility, all potential. And therefore to think that one religion with its rules and regulations and musts and mustn't is going to give you all you need to know. I mean, please, over here, intelligent life calling planet Earth. In the filter, in the lens of the human body, which simply gives us the ability, when I say us, I mean consciousness, disembodied consciousness, to hold that book.